So guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you are all well. We got some huge transfer news to discuss in today's video. As you can tell by the title, Fabrizio Romano has been speaking about Celtic and a potential signing. It's a signing that a lot of fans, well, they'll be happy with the position. It's a striker. So it's a very interesting situation here, and we'll discuss the player, who it is, what Fabrizio Romano has said in today's video, alongside another transfer rumour surrounding Celtic. But before we do get into these stories, make sure you do like this video and subscribe to the channel as well for more content just like this. So let's get into the first one before we get into what Fabrizio Romano is saying. So Ben Jacobs has said that Philippe Otele is set to leave Basel this winter. I understand Basel have reduced their asking price and will consider offers in excess of €7 million. Birmingham City remain interested. Wolves also have Otele as one of several names on their list. Lazio, Celtic and Bournemouth, three other clubs to inquire. Otele has 13 goal contributions this season and was close to joining Fulham last summer. So this guy here, he's 26. We get his FootMob stats up here. Yeah, he is 26. He's Nigerian. He plays predominantly on the left, of course, but he can play on the right. Yeah, I'm not too convinced, guys. I'm not too convinced. I'm not too sure. You know, he's got some decent stats. You know, a goal or assist in every 2 games or so. 16 games started, 7 goals and assists. But he's 26, you know, he's kind of reaching the peak of his career, and what I've seen from his peak of his career so far doesn't really convince me. This is his background, of course, his history, playing for Cluj, then Basel on loan, then went to Basel permanently, and now he's looking for another move. Yeah, I'm not too convinced, guys. I'm not too convinced about this player. He's a left winger, another wide player. We signed a lot of wide players in the last few years, and a lot of them haven't worked out, and there's similar profiles to this guy. So yeah, he wouldn't be top of my transfer list of who I want to come to the club. But I'm interested to know your thoughts on the situation. He's not capped by Nigeria. And he joined Basel last year. He's had a lot of clubs as well, which is something to worth note. He's had a lot of clubs in his career. He's 26. He moves around quite a lot. His market value is around €2.6 million, but Basel wants €7 million. Do I think Celtic will pay that? Well, do I want Celtic to pay that? Not really, not for this type of player. But he is 26. He's more of a proven player, I suppose. It would be interesting. You know, I'm going to leave that one up to you guys to decide what you make of that situation. As I just clicked on the Swiss League here. Basel at 4th. There you go. So he's been okay. Team of the week, he's not in there. But yeah, that was the first kind of situation here. Ben Jacobs saying that Philippe Otele is set to leave Basel this winter, and then Celtic are one of many clubs interested. Of course, Birmingham are there. Birmingham are on the resurgence. You know, they're doing really well under Tom Brady's kind of ownership, I suppose, part of his group that he's part of. Lazio, a big club in Italy. Bournemouth, of course, doing well in the Premier League. And then Wolves, who are struggling this year. So yeah, a lot of clubs interested in him. So it will be a lot of... It's worth noting, I think Celtic here are easily the biggest team, but a lot of these other clubs that I mentioned do have a lot more financial power than Celtic, given the leagues that they're in. So that is that as well. So even if we were interested in him, could we even get him, given the fact that Premier League teams are interested and we know how much money they have at their disposal? But let's get into the main story with regards to Fabrizio Romano, because this one is quite interesting. So, Chelsea and David Datro Fofana are working on a permanent exit this window. So, Celtic, Royal Antwerp and Derby County all express interest over a potential deal. Now, this one is interesting because he is a number 9. He has played for, he's played with Chelsea, of course. He's still contracted to Chelsea, but he's been on loan for the last few years. If we go through his history on Wikipedia here quickly. So yeah, Chelsea signed him in 2022 and he's around 19. He's 23 now from Mould. And it didn't really work out for him at Chelsea. He made a few appearances here and there. And he went on loan to Union Berlin. Didn't look too good there, did it? 12 appearances in the league, 1 goal. Burnley, 15 and 4. That was when they were in the Premier League. And I remember he scored 2 goals in 1 game for Burnley at one point. But other than that, he was very, didn't really add much to that team. And then some other teams here. He's currently playing in the Turkish league with Fatih Karagümrük with 12 games and 5 goals. So yeah, it's an interesting one. He is a striker. We need a striker at the club. I think that's pretty obvious. But he's 7 million euros, and what I'm looking at, I'm not looking at a clinical goal scorer, and I don't see a reason as to why he's 7 million euros. That just shows there's a lot of inflation in the Premier League when it comes to Premier League owned players. And Chelsea to ask 7 million euros or 7 million pound is a little bit cheeky. He's not really proven himself. He's tried to get in the Premier League, not done well. He's probably had his best time of his career right now with this Turkish team, with 5 goals and 9 starts, which I suppose is a goal every 2 games. So yeah, interesting. I'm not too convinced by him, to be honest with you. I mean, I know there was a lot of hype around David Datro Fofana when he signed at Chelsea 3 years ago when he was 19, 20. But he's 23 years old now. He's been on loan around the world and he's not really impressed a lot. I feel like if he was at Celtic, I feel like he could be a good player. I feel like he's got the profile of a player that could do well at Celtic and actually grow and become a lot better. And I think for him, he would look at Celtic as, if you look at the options he has here, Celtic, Royal Antwerp or Derby County, I think it's pretty obvious to him who he'd want to go to. And I believe we were linked to him like last summer as well. There was like speculation about David Datro Fofana previously, but nothing ever materialised. But now Fabrizio Romano is saying that we are interested in a potential deal. But for me, I would take David Datro Fofana if the price can be lowered. I don't want to pay £7 million for him. I think that's ridiculous given the last few years of his career haven't been great. And, I remember when he signed for Chelsea, they were saying this guy's like the next Didier Drogba. But clearly hasn't worked out for them in that way whatsoever. But yeah, of course, let me know your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video. I mean, with regards to both players, Otele and David Datro Fofana. The Basel winger doesn't really interest me too much because obviously, one, there's a lot of interest around him. So the price might be a bit of a bidding war. And he doesn't look that impressive. He's 26 years old as well. He's come to the peak of his career. I expect some better numbers from him. And then David Datro Fofana is an interesting one. If we can get him on a cheap and not pay £7 million for him, I'd be kind of interested in him because we could do with another striker for sure. And if it's like a lower amount of money, it's worth the risk in my opinion. But yeah, that's come from Fabrizio Romano. But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video. Make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel as well for more content just like this. Thank you. Take care. Goodbye.